It's another day. Not gonna lie, I'm being 100%, 1000% honest time right now. I feel, ugh, I feel, right now. And it's a frustrating place to be in. So what I'm doing right now is I am going to throw stuff into a pot. Like, like Cardi B says, throw it in a pot and see what happens. Because honestly, today is one of those days where it's just you know what I'm talking about. When you feel trapped in your life, that's such a terrible feeling. I was sitting outside of the place that I call home. And I was sitting outside in the street area, public property, sidewalk is public property. And the kids were getting out of school. Lovely, 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 lovely. And I have this thing in my head where I'm always like expecting some bad stuff to happen. Like I see the little kids and then I see the way that people drive and I'm just like, oh my God, I hope that these kids don't get hit by a car or something. Like, and they didn't. They don't, I mean, everything is fine. Everything is good. Not for everybody though. For me, yes. For me personally, yes. Although, I will say, I'm comparing my lifestyle with someone else's lifestyle, people who are worse off. And they say that there's always somebody who's worse off. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's not too crazy, it's just a little crazy, okay? No, it's actually very, very crazy. You hear about these reports of Donald Trump. And then I see that Donald Trump, the pictures that people are taking of him lately make me believe that he's lost weight, in which case I'm mad about that because you would think he would stop being, I guess weight has nothing to do with someone's intelligence. I mean, clearly, right? Like, clearly, someone's weight has nothing to do with someone's intelligence, right? Like, look at this, right? Like, I mean, I guess it's not that bad. It's the angle, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a belly. I got a Buddha belly. So that's pissing me off. I'll tell you what's not pissing me off. Music. I love music, and I was messing around with. Ooh, this is getting it is spicy, quite the spicy. Messing around with some of my music, and it sounds nice. It sounds really nice. I don't hate myself listening to it. I listen to it and I'm like, this actually is not something that I am ashamed of or hate or anything like that. Because I'm very hard on myself, and I don't want to be hard on myself anymore. So today is Monday or Tuesday. We're going to find out here momentarily. Tuesday. It is Tuesday. And guess what? No one was ordering food. I made $20 in 4 hours, man. So that's just how it goes. I'm breathing. I know that I'm not in any dire situation. I mean, obviously, I have food. I paid my dad money. So, yeah, I'm not in any dire situation to make money, but yeah, I mean, it's not a question of like survival. I think I tend to worry and wonder. Like I panic as if I'm wondering where my next meal is gonna come from, and that's just not the case. I really don't need to panic as much as I do. I really don't. I really don't. I do panic that way because of nature versus nurture. It's how I saw my mom and my dad handle their situation, or my mom, anyways. And so that's kind of how I adopted my own way of doing things. So I don't need to struggle, or I don't need to like panic. I would say that I am still in this place that I talk about with my therapist, which is this place of being comfortably uncomfortable. I lived in my car for 3 years, and I eventually outgrew it. And so I'm hoping I don't have to spend 3 years here. I'm hoping I can like speed up the process. It's been a year and a half, so we're going on year number 2 here, so it might be another year or so. So I've obviously been very vocal about my feelings towards this administration. And so I texted my therapist and I was telling her, and so she like looked at me and was like, okay, well, how are you getting involved in positive change, is what she said. And I got super defensive, and I was like, you tell me, which is not the way to handle it. I'm just not used to that kind of positive. I'm just not used to someone actually caring. I mean, I love my parents. I have sympathy for them because I know it wasn't easy. Their lives aren't easy, coming from where they come from. A lot of pain, a lot of misery, a lot of confusion, a lot of anger. These are very difficult feelings to have ingrained inside. At the same time, I can't allow my sympathy or my empathy of their, or my awareness of their situation, keep me stuck here. And so, music is one of the ways that I hope to go about it. I'm allowing myself to believe in myself. What I mean by that is, I'm actually not bad when it comes to producing music. I say that so hesitantly. I'm very hesitant, and I say that with such trepidation because what I do I don't think is great. And I'm not saying that to be like the humble genius or whatever. I guess I'm just more examining it from like academia. Like, I don't think my music or stuff that I do creatively would be examined or taught in schools, and I think I'm wrong about that. I think it could be, especially when you consider how something like that happens. It requires you to know somebody. You have to like know people, and I hate that kind of thinking because I feel like that kind of thinking is like what Trump would do or say, or Elon. You know, these I guess we can call them people. I mean, I don't know. I think calling them people is being too kind to them when they are not kind to others. Anyone can be kind when it's easy for them to be kind. It's another thing entirely to be kind when it's really hard to be kind, and I think they've shown their true colors in that sense. So, what am I doing to get more involved in it? Well, that is an excellent question, Zora. I don't have an answer. Like, I would want and I would hope to be like a Kendrick Lamar, right? I'm not. I'm not. And I think my philosophies and my ideologies kind of get in the way of that a little bit. Not, and it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to get in the way, because like you look at someone like Oscar Wilde or even like Robert Frost, right? Like these are people who didn't, who weren't rich, and yet their legacy lives on. And so money is what I'm examining. It sucks because you need money to have a home. You need money to live, I guess, comfortably. I'm not sure I thrive living comfortably. I don't think that's where I'm gonna thrive. I worry and wonder about assassination. Martin Luther King assassinated, Malcolm X assassinated. What's his name? The husband to Frida Kahlo. Miguel, I think was his name. I honestly don't remember. I think it was Miguel. I want to say Miguel. Was murdered. Assassinated. Like, I worry, man. I don't want to be assassinated, and that's a weird fear to have. I think that is a weird fear to have. Like, why would I be worried about being assassinated? I think because like I've been traumatized. Like as a kid, I've been I was choked out as a kid in the schoolyard. I was stabbed with a pencil in the schoolyard. I was choked out again in the lunchroom. You know what I mean? Like, people have done physical harm to me, and also my parents also have done physical harm to me. So like a lot of physical harm has been done to me, and so I guess that's kind of where I'm like traumatized from. It's like, oh, and then like I'm also pretty vocal with my opinion, and not even just my opinion. I'm very smart, and so when I speak about stuff and people who are dumber than me are listening to me, it forces them to think critically, which they don't normally do. And so when you have a dumb person doing something they don't normally do, what happens? They get frustrated. They get frustrated. And then what happens when a dumb person gets frustrated? They take it out on you. And it's hard to like be logical with them. Like, I want to engage with them. You can't engage with a dumb, angry person. You just can't. They're animals at that point. They're basically a bull, and I'm the china shop, being like, fuck. When I try to engage with them intellectually, like I'll say something like Trump is stupid, and here's why. Pa 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 pa. Then they won't even listen to the pa 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 part. They'll just hear Trump is stupid and be like, no, you're fucking stupid. And then you can't really, and then there's no conversation to be had there. You would just be going back and forth, And I'm not talking intellectually. I'm talking back and forth, physically, spiritually. If you put it in a song, well then I think there we can get a little somewhere. we can get a little somewhere there. Because when you put it in a song, a person is actively seeking it out. You're not putting it in front of them. And so immediately they feel like they're more susceptible or more open and willing to listen because they feel like it was their choice to do so. That's why songs are an effective way of brainwashing, because you put something in a song, right? Maybe it's the beat, maybe it's the cover art of a song or an album, something that attracts the person to go, I want to click on this. And they click on it, and then they're more willing to listen to what you have to say because they clicked on it. It was their choice. As opposed to like if someone is on YouTube and a commercial pops up, and then the commercial is talking about why immigrants aren't the enemy and why most immigrants aren't criminals, and yet these policies are affecting the general body of immigrants, and that it's ridiculously ludicrous to think that our systems are capable of rooting out the quote-unquote bad apples. No such thing, by the way. They won't listen because they'll just be trying to hit that skip button, you know? Because they didn't choose to listen. And I think that's the same thing that happens when I'm conversing with people. Except in real life, people will just tune out. And it's just like, oh, God, you're such a fucking moron. People really don't think critically. It's a skill that is lost. So if I were to get involved in positive change during this stupid administration, I guess I play the role of the martyr in this case, where it's just like, I'm going to have to continue to engage these people, even though they're going to get angry with me, even though they're going to get pissed at me, even though they're going to throw shit at me, they're going to be threatening to me. And all I can do is trust in myself because I know why they're getting angry. And it's you know what they are? They're babies, and you're hitting them with the shot that they need. It's the same people. It's the same people that are so anti-vax. Except the vaccine that I'm giving them is the mental kind. It's funny. It's funny that I say that because their leader, Musk, their God, their all-seeing, benevolent man, wants to put chips in their brains. Okay, I basically put a lot of chorizo in a pot, and now it looks black, so I'm going to see if it's burnt or just cooked. It's also pretty old, too, so I'm assuming it's bad meat. Very salty. And the thing about chorizo is it's very strong. It's very, very strong. Okay, I'm going to put some water. Gonna mix it in here. We're going to bring this to a boil. You know, when I put the water in there, it doesn't look too bad. It actually looks alright. Funny enough. We're going to put a little bit of more water in there. Because we're also going to cook this thing. We're going to make sure this meat is really nice because it's really strong right now. So we're going to go ahead and just act and sound like a chef, you know. Man, I'll be honest, man. Sitting in my car trying to work DoorDash, it doesn't make a lot of money. Not the way that I do it. I really am doing the bare minimum when it comes to working DoorDash. It's all that I can manage, really. It's just not something that I'm gonna put any energy or effort into. Because it's not a challenging thing for me. Ugh. And so then I wonder, okay, well then what would be a challenging thing? I've applied to different teaching positions. Do I want to go into teaching? Robert Frost was a teacher. Oscar Wilde was involved in academia. It's not easy being in this place, and I'll say this, at least I'm willing to admit that it's not easy, because there are people who are just stuck right now in a worse way than I am. Like, I'm stuck, and it doesn't feel good to be stuck. There are people who feel the same, and instead of accepting being stuck as a frustrating feeling, they're just ignoring it altogether. And like, for example, if you have a cut, right, and it hurts, you got to put some alcohol on there to disinfect it, right? It's gonna hurt, and then you put the alcohol on there, it's gonna hurt, and then you put a Band-Aid on there and you do what you gotta do. That's what I'm doing with my life. What other people are doing in their lives when it comes to their ideologies and how to live is that they get cut, and instead of putting alcohol on it, they're just like ignoring it and being like, oh no, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. It's like you're not helping the situation. You're just not helping the situation. Put a little bit more water in there. Man, this thing is spicy. Oh, I forgot I did add some spice to it. I forgot I added spice to this thing. And so sometimes I'd fantasize about living in a different place, and that place is not one that I would afford or could afford, and it like gets to be a cycle of disappointment where it's like you don't appreciate your own life, and then you start to fantasize about the life that makes you feel good to fantasize about, and then you start to feel bad again because you can't afford that place, and so it feels like your fantasy is out of reach, and then it perpetuates the cycle, and then you get depression, right? Now, because of the fact, now that I'm being more like politically focused, and this administration, I've been watching the news and the reporting, and it's really made me sour on the idea of money. And I know that it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, there are people who are making money to live Well, now we're at an interesting place where I'm thinking, I fantasize about living in a better place, right? Because of what? I think I'd be more comfortable there. When I just said earlier about how I don't do well, I'm not someone who's going to do well living comfortably. I always have to be living on some sort of precipice. So is that my ambitious side? Probably. I don't think I want my ambitious side to be a part of me anymore because I just don't like the type of people who are like Trump and Elon. Aren't they ambitious? And it's just like, ugh, you know. But I guess I shouldn't let a couple of sour apples like them spoil this, what it means to be ambitious, you know? Their type of ambition is Magic Johnson's ambitious. He's not Elon. He's not Trump. So I think it is possible to be ambitious for positive change. That's the thing. Trump and Elon, man, they're not doing stuff for positive change. No. This is not positive what's happening in our country right now. Not only a nihilist, I also tend to find myself thinking in terms of anarchy sometimes because I wonder just what role does government play? And I guess if I'm allowing myself to say, if I allow myself to say you can be ambitious in a positive change kind of way, then I guess you can also have a government that actually works for the people, right? And I guess that's why people like Trump are always going to be around, because there's always going to be people who warp it because they're stupid. No one ever challenges them to think critically. Because guess what? When you challenge Trump critically to use his baby brain, he fires you. The definition of whatever you want to call it, authoritarian government, fascist government, call him Hitler, call him Stalin, Mussolini, just how does a person like that redeem himself? He's got to come to God. For as much as he likes to play on the fan base of God, he needs to come to God. I personally, if you were to ask me, I would say that he's not redeemable. I don't think there's anything he can do to... He's already messed up. He's already messed up too much. I think I can be okay in thinking that I'm not ever going to mess up that bad. Because I have wondered about getting into politics. I have fantasized about being that guy, you know, like an AOC, but just a male version. I don't know. Kind of feels like it would be nice. Not without its struggles. I mean, the job does come with challenges. I mean, AOC has gotten death threats, man. That ain't cool. That is not cool. She doesn't deserve that. She does not deserve it. Damn, we need bleach on this thing. Damn. This is years of neglect. That's what this is right here. God damn. Jesus. So I was listening to myself yesterday. No, today I was listening to what I recorded yesterday on the piano, and it was nice. It is a challenge to compose music and stuff because the way I look at it, I'm 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 not I'm not confident in myself enough yet to memorize and practice my own stuff. Or maybe it's just because I enjoy creating so much and I'm not so focused on the performance aspect of it. It's a humble life. It's not terrible. I I wonder, right? People, it wouldn't be an arrogant thing for me to show people my music, and hope it's good enough to be put in like movies and stuff, or be used in video games or stuff. Um, it just so happens that I mean I would get paid for that, and that's where my clash of ideologies comes into play, where it's like, ugh, I don't know, man. I mean, I need money, duh, obviously. I wish I didn't, though. Trump was asked what is going to be the goal of the person in charge of like schools or stuff like that. Someone that he appointed, I forget her name. And he basically said that the goal for her, he told her, was to put herself out of a job. And I feel like Trump's goal should be to put himself out of a presidency. Tear it down. Tear it down. Tear down the presidency. Tear it down. Tear it down. Because he's talking about ideals, right? So then ideally, we shouldn't need a president. We shouldn't need government because we would all just do what we can for each other, right? Right? Yeah, it's so frustrating. So this is the place that I'm at. It is nice to upload myself practicing music, and because I know that's not a terrible thing to do. I suffer with imposter syndrome, I really do. But I'm not suffering so much with it anymore. I'm starting to actually feel like a musician. Against my own self, because I'm often sabotaging myself. I'm like, well, do I really want to make music? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do that? And it's just like, why not? Why not? So it's not so much about being successful as it is living a life I think I'll regret more about the things I didn't do as opposed to the failures that I had. Still very salty. God damn. This thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. Okay, we're gonna blast it one last time with some heat. We're gonna blast it with some good heat. Let that thing blast. Sounds like a rap song. Let that thing blast. Let that thing blast. Let that thing blast. Ooh, that thing is hot. It is hot. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in a Ziploc bag and wrap it up. So today's Tuesday, February something. Hold on, 18. Thank you to my millions of subscribers. I appreciate you. I appreciate you liking the video to get it to 1,000 billion likes. Thank you for the comments, the thousands and billions of comments. I can't read them all, obviously, because a lot of them are stupid like you. Nah. Not yet. Once I get more popular, then I'll be able to say that. Yeah, that's it. So I worked. I'm going to mess around with some music again, play more video games. Kind of more of the same. So we're okay. We're okay.